All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, that's out the hopeful elect, that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And a news report just came out about Dan Bongino. Pretty much he's the assistant director of the FBI. He pretty much walks out of the FBI over the Epstein files, so to speak. All right, now you're seeing pretty much trouble amongst the MAGA and the division amongst MAGA. Now, Dan Bongino, he pretty much was a individual. He was as an ex-Marine, I believe, an ex-Navy SEAL, to be correct. And pretty much he had his own platform, his own podcast, before he was tapped as assistant director of the FBI. He pretty much was a patriot. He had a huge following on his platform, and he pretty much was a big MAGA guy, and spoke about things, and he spoke about the Epstein files in general when he was on this platform, and pretty much wanting to get to the bottom of it. But now you're seeing that there's pretty much trouble within the administration with him being at odds, him and Patel. Okay, but let's read the little caption here. Okay, because now he's having odds with Pam Bondi, which is the Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General. Okay, over the files. So now pretty much they're telling you now that there's nothing to see here, so to speak. All of this hoopla of this man being jailed and pretty much the reports are coming out that he unalived himself, and they're pretty much saying that there's no list now. But meanwhile, they carried out a long trial, and pretty much his assistant and ex-girlfriend pretty much was thrown in jail. And at the end of the day, rumors was going around, and this whole thing runs deep, and this is pretty much the same situation with Diddy, but this man pretty much was set up to be pretty much a engine for people of the elites, the Congress, and pretty much heads of states, and even presidents of different countries. They gave them a leeway to exercise their vices, so to speak. What he offered, speaking about Epstein, was pretty much a fantasy island, so to speak. Okay, he pretty much was a host of Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island was a show that was back in the 70s, where people would live out their fantasies on this particular island. And this is a real life true story, that's being played out. And this was a tactic to pretty much blackmail a lot of people that are in office today to pretty much do the bidding of the elites, which they have their, situation going on in the Middle East. And Israel is pretty much their engine to carry out tasks in that region. And the people would have to bend the knee, so to speak, to comply. This man was pretty much an asset to the Mossad, which is the Israeli version of the FBI or CIA, so to speak. So this man had pretty much a lot of goods on a lot of people. And now you're seeing now how the Attorney General now, is saying there's nothing to see here. And now you're starting to see the division amongst these people, man, because now you're seeing that there's an ultimate uniparty where they ultimately are protecting, the reputation of both sides of the aisle with this whole big scandal. So now they pretty much were going ahead to destroy evidence. So now Dan Bongino, pretty much the assistant director, and he was all for this whole thing before he became tapped as assistant director of the FBI. Now he's ready to walk out, because of the fact that Pam Bondi lied. But pretty much this whole thing has been a cover up though, but he understands he's feeling the backlash of this whole thing. Okay, so we're having trouble in paradise, so to speak. You see? But let's read this description, and it reads: reports have emerged claiming that FBI Assistant Director Dan Bongino is threatening to resign from the Trump administration due to the frustration with Attorney General Pam Bondi's alleged mishandling and lack of transparency regarding the Epstein files. Kash Patel is also reported considering stepping down if Bongino leaves, citing similar concerns. Okay, so now pretty much, this is going to take an insert from the Jimmy Dore show. Pretty much, Jimmy Dore is a comedian that has a pretty much a platform where he speaks about issues that's going on in the country. Okay, and pretty much, he tells it how it is at the end of the day. So let's play a little bit of this, and then we're gonna hit the scriptures, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. So without any further ado.
Kash Patel will resign if Dan Bongino leaves. FBI chief frustrated with Pam Bondi. Amid the Dan Bongino resignation saga, a report stated that FBI chief Kash Patel has told his close circle that he could leave the Trump administration. The 45-year-old has reportedly cited frustrations with Attorney General Pam Bondi over the Epstein files row. Sources close to the Department of Justice says Kash Patel also wants Pam Bondi gone, and that he'd consider leaving if Bongino leaves. Also, that there are more frustrations with other documents Bondi hasn't released. Mary Margaret Olohan of the Daily Wire posted on X platform, formerly known as Twitter. This comes after Daily Wire cited a source close to Bongino to report that the deputy director of the FBI is threatening to leave his job if Bondi remains in the administration. The report further adds that Dan Bongino is furious with the attorney general over her handling of the infamous Jeffrey Epstein files. The source close to Bongino said that he's effectively issued an ultimatum saying he won't work alongside Bondi, the Daily Wire stated. Neither the White House nor Patel's office have issued a statement on the recent developments.
And pretty much it's going to go in the way of he's going to have to pretty much step down. Okay? Because now he's being shown to be a hypocrite, man. Okay? Because he has a large following on his podcast previous to being tapped for this position. Okay? And now he's looked to be made a hypocrite now. Now people pretty much that are MAGA, pretty much some of them are pretty much a sector of them are waking up to the fact that MAGA has been compromised, man. Okay? You see? And the Lord is pretty much sending this whole spirit in the midst of Egypt, man. Okay? And this is where you're seeing the division going on. Okay? But like I said, before everything's all said and done, man, it's going to be the Lord, man. Okay? In some kind of way of fashion to bring this whole thing out, man. All right? So pretty much that's enough there of that. He made the point pretty much. This video, you can watch it for yourself. Lord willing, I'll put the description in the description, the link in the description box. The video is pretty much runs for like another 10 minutes or so. But let's hit some scriptures now, because now we're seeing now that this whole thing is going to be blown wide open. Okay? Now people's are pretty much trying to maintain some type of integrity within this whole thing, because right now the people want answers, man. Okay? And they're being shown to be hypocrites, man. You see? So now this man is trying to avoid having egg on his face, speaking about Dan Bongino. Okay? And this is the reason why he wants to step down. But he was already in a situation to where he thought he was gonna come into office of the FBI and clean house. But he has to understand that there's a standard, and there's pretty much a code of ethics that they go by, okay, which is to protect your brother, so to speak, okay, and that goes by any secrets that they may be in possession, that it will not get out to see the light of day. Okay, all right, but you're seeing that Yahweh Bashim Abishai has other plans, man. Okay, so we're gonna go to Luke chapter 12, verse 2. This pretty much was concerning the Pharisees at this time. But the Lord said to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. And we can also apply this hypocrisy within this administration and with this whole governmental structure that we are that's before us. You know? So this is Luke chapter 12, verse 2. Nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing is secret that will not be made known. So whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and whatever you have whispered in private rooms will be proclaimed from the housetops, man. And this goes by what these wicked elites are doing behind closed doors, man. Okay, because this thing is much bigger than what people can even imagine, man. Okay, the tentacles that this reaches, man, is far beyond the borders of this place, man. This is pretty much a worldwide scandal, man. Okay, you see, and these people have taken a wicked oath, man, and to protect their own. And the whole fact of the matter is that the plans are going to go full forged ahead, man, to accomplish their agenda, man. Okay, and their wickedness, their vices are to be wiped away. But the Lord has other plans, man. Okay, so the Lord's going to bust this thing wide open before it's all said and done. You know? And it says, verse 4, I tell you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, and after that they have nothing more that they can do. But I warn you to whom you shall fear. Fear the one who, after killing the body, has authority to throw you into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him. You know, and the Lord pretty much is in control of all things. And we ought to fear the Lord, man. Okay, because the Lord can kill the body and soul. Okay, all right. We don't fear what mortal man can possibly do for you, man. Okay, this is the reason why you're seeing people pretty much being unalived that actually have information, man. Okay, so you know this thing is pretty much going to get bust wide open, and he's saying that he will leave if there's not a change within the U.S. Attorney General position. But at the end of the day, even if you were to go ahead and bring somebody else in, it will not make this whole Epstein file come to see the day of light. You see? So the Lord has something brewing, man, to where it's going to come out one way or the other. You know, you may have like another instance of a Snowden instance where, you know, or somebody, you know, that will has the information that will actually independently leak it out, man. Okay? Leak out the client list, man. Because that's pretty much what people are wanting to see, you know. But it's all entertainment at the end of the day, you know. Okay, you know, already know that these people are corrupt. You know that's something that's being hid. But the Lord, before this place is all said and done, okay, all right, the Lord will bring these things to light, man. You know, okay. There's no way of getting around that, you know. But we're starting to see the division, okay, because amongst the MAGAs. This is a hot topic, man. Okay? Because they were all so gung-ho about this coming to pass and for them to pretty much get to the bottom of this whole thing. You see? But now they're understanding now that the protection is going across party lines, man. Okay? You see? Right? And it says, right? And we're going to read this in the NET. Okay? And it says, I will provoke civil strife in Egypt. Brothers will fight against each other, as will neighbors, cities, and kingdoms. The Egyptians will panic, and I will confuse their strategy. They will seek guidance from the idols and from the spirits of the dead, and from the pits used to conjure up the underworld spirits, and from the magicians. And I will hand the Egyptians over to a harsh master. A powerful king will rule over them, says the sovereign master, Yahweh, who commands armies. And pretty much, man, you know, do this man's policy and do his, he's gonna have craft to prosper, man. Okay? And by peace he shall destroy many, man. Okay? So we're seeing now with this big, beautiful bill, which pretty much will actually give him a lot of the undertold power, okay, that he is seeking to pretty much become this dictator, so to speak, man. Okay, all right. So where the courts and the highest courts will not have any type of power to stop him in any type of movement that he would make. You know, you're not going to see any pretty much no vote on any executive orders. It's just going to be rendered. Okay, whatever judgment that he wants to put out is gonna have to put out. Okay, you see. So this place will witness that, man. Okay, all right. They're gonna go forge ahead on their plans, man. They don't need anything like these files to put a wrinkle, pretty much in their endeavors, man. Okay, you see. All right, all right. We're gonna jump down to verse 13 because I want to get the points, right? The officials of Zohan are fools. The officials of Memphis are misled. The rulers of her tribes lead Egypt astray. And pretty much, Zohan and Memphis were ancient cities in Egypt. But we can apply this here to Babylon, man. Okay? But the people are fools, okay? The scriptures speak about them being fools and they are misled. And the rulers will lead the tribes of tribes will lead them astray, right? Right? The Lord has made them undiscerning. They lead Egypt astray in all she does, so that she is like a drunk sliding around in his own vomit. So there's no discernment that's going to be used, man. Okay? All right? Everything's going to be done sloppy and tacky, and it's going to look like a drunkard, man. Okay? All right? This man's policies will lead this place into a drunkard state, so to speak, man. You see? All right? It says, Egypt will not be able to do a thing, head or tail, shoot or stalk, from the top to the bottom, man. There's nothing they can do to pretty much stop the downward spiral of this place, man. Okay? It says, at that time, the Egyptians shall be like unto women. Okay? They will tremble in fear because of Yahweh, who commands armies, brandishes his fist against them. The Lord is pretty much shaking this place up, man. And the Lord's going to cause terror on each side, man. Every side, man. Okay? And we know ultimately what the cherry on top is, man. It's those ICBMs, man. Okay? And them ICBMs will be the day of the Lord, man. Okay? So we've seen the talk of that being conjured up, with these nations. So we know that the day of the Lord is nigh, man. Okay? But like I said, again, these things just need to come out and be revealed, man, before this man's downfall, man. All right? So pretty much I'm going to end it right there. And I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rukakodash. Shalom, Hakim.